Okay, so I'm creating this additional resource for you, women and your period, because it does influence how you feel, how you look, and it can create some havoc in the background. And if we understand this portion of ourselves and how our cycle influences our cravings, yes, you are not crazy. You actually do need more calories before your period, and it does create cravings. Because you are in this course, you're cleaning up your mindset, you're cleaning up your internal system, so you're knowing what to do when those cravings hit. But I feel like having this additional resourcing, knowing what's going on with your cycle and behind the scenes, is just going to allow you to understand that what you know for me, I downloaded the app, which I would encourage you to do. Gives you, our cycles generally last about 28 days. Sometimes it can be as early as 24 days, as late as 35 days. You kind of want to be in that window. But knowing what's going on helps me understand, like, oh, I'm not feeling great today. And then when I know where I am in my cycle, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Because what women tend to do, and what has the diet industry has taught us to do, is when you can't stay with something, or when something's really hard for you, you're like, I'm a failure. I don't have willpower. I can't do this. What's wrong with me? So, this information is going to empower you to understand, well, why you do deserve a break and why it's okay to take a nap, and actually create some really great structure in your life of when it's the best time for you to go after a job, or when is the best time for you to create some, at home organization. So, this slideshow is going to give, yep, I did a slideshow for you guys. It's going to give you some great information and insight of what goes on uh, within a woman's system, because our hormones play a big role not just in our periods, but it affects our sleep, it affects your metabolic rate, it affects your temperature, like your temperature controls. There's like 50 hormones that are within our system that they found, and I'm sure that there'll be more discovered along the way. Our bodies are these miraculous chemical factories, and hormones are chemical messengers. They're even our energetic messengers, so we really want to nurture them and make sure that they are being uh, provided for. They're given the nutrients that they need so that they can then assist us in having a really vibrant and beautiful body. Because um, when your hormones are off, you feel it. So, the normal woman has a flow of, our the hormones are ebbing and flowing constantly. It's in a constant state of flow. However, when it gets imbalanced, and I will show you that on the slide, it can create things like hair loss, skin issues, weight loss resistance, um, things that you're doing all the things, you're exercising, you're working out, why isn't this weight coming off? It can very much be a hormonal issue. So you're going to learn what you need to, you're going to learn a lot in this video. Um, and yeah, I'm really excited to give this to you and have this be an additional resource for you. I want you to still use your 4 A's. Always use your 4 A's, because we want to emotionally know what's going on with us. I think it is knowing who we are, what we are, how we operate, why we do the things we do, and having that peace within ourselves and our body. It just makes us make better decisions and makes things and life more pleasurable. So that is the goal here. You have been learning how to have a more pleasurable experience with weight loss, and using this as an additional tool, knowing that you're looking at yourself as a whole. So you're including your period, but it's not like has to be rigid or flexible. I am going to give you some food guidelines or options. I never tell you what to eat or how to eat. And this is just something else to look at and say, that makes sense to me. I'm going to give that a try and see how I feel. So use this information to your benefit, excuse me, and have it serve you. Okay. Hold on, I need a sip of water. All right, let's get this screen shared. Okay. All right, perfect. So you should be seeing a screen. Um, all right, so your period changes. It changes what you crave, how much you eat. You're not crazy, like I said before. Different times of your cycle require different approaches. So use this information to help you throughout your cycle to kind of manage how you feel and how you operate. If you are someone that has a lot of hormonal imbalances, you have the brain fog, you have the cold hands and feet, you have I'm trying to think of all the things. There's so many, the weight loss resistance, I'm like seeing a list in my head and I can't think of it. Oh, it can affect like your depression, your moody, and like you are meant to have fluctuation in mood, but it's like the mood that's like, who is this person? You know, when you're like that, right? You're like, this is not me. It like takes over your body. Like that's an indicator your hormones are in flux. So, in not a great way. So if you have irregular periods, if you have really heavy periods, based on your period, because our periods are different, they are unique to us, so they do look different. So try to track for a couple months, and then you'll know against yourself. Periods shouldn't be painful. They might be a little uncomfortable. They might be a little discomfort, but they shouldn't be painful. They shouldn't take you away from your life to a point where like you can't operate. You have to call out of work for 3 days. You are in like doubled over in pain. Headaches, that's a big one. If you get a chronic headache each month, that's your body speaking to you. It is a symptom telling you like something's up, check me. I need some maintenance. Like your body is always communicating with you. And you know, at this point, you should have you're learning some tools and creating some more communication, and you're also, you know, on a protocol that's going to be helping with these signalings as well. So the hormone pack is phenomenal for this. If you're suffering with this, it will get your metabolic hormones, your sex hormones, and your stress hormones um, supported and helping you. Okay, let's see. Okay, perfect. Sporting. All right. So one of the big things that is affected from our hormones is our sleep, like our melatonin, which is created in the belly. So that is why we want to have really good gut health, because the melatonin is made in the stomach, and then it's actually the hormone signaling needs to be on point so that it reaches the brain and we get tired. And the cortisol, which is our stress hormone. And you might, if you're finding the insomnia, waking up in the middle of the night, um, you're having some cortisol issues and spiking at the wrong time. So we want to get it where it's spiking during the day and not at night, so that you're not up all night and then crashing during the day and needing like 5 cups of coffee just to get through the day. So you'll see here on this chart, this is the normal 24-hour cycle for a man and a woman. So men have a 24-hour circadian rhythm, just like us. But then we have that additional 28-day hormonal cycle, which makes dieting like near impossible for us. So men can thrive in structure in like doing the same thing over and over. The masculine energy is very linear, very goal oriented. It operates so differently. Women, who we are receivers, we're more emotional, we're more fluid, like we need flexibility, and you'll learn that as we go through in this slideshow. So when we try to go for just this 24-hour window and we go on a diet and we wonder why can't we stay on it for more than a month or two, because we get bored, we get exhausted, we push when really we need to rest. Um, it's not you. It's not you. We need variety. You should not be eating the same thing every day, exercising the same way every day. You know, our bodies continually need different things, and you need to know what that is. So that is your job, to learn what it is and to listen. So you'll see this top is a normal, this is the normal cortisol release. And then down here, you'll see it where it's, you know, dysfunctional. This also can lead to that really difficult to lose belly fat around the middle, the visceral fat, and it can be actually really hard on the heart. So you're probably on the GBX Fit, which targets this. It's going to make it easier for you to get rid of and release. And then the mood, again, clinically, you know, proven to help with cortisol and getting that back on track within 2 weeks. So we love these products for that reason. But then on your, because supplements, you can't just take supplements. You need to actually create some healthy habits and work on your syncing your body to this circadian rhythm. So there's a couple of things you can do. First thing you do when you wake up is you want to go to a window and look out the window. If you can get outside, even better, but you want to sync your body to the sunlight in the morning and then again in the evening. So letting your body know that it's time to wind down. And you can do that in your home by like kind of lowering the lights, keeping things like not super, super bright, shutting down the electronics. I'm sure you've heard that. I know for me, it's difficult. I do have my phone telling me at 9:45, like shut it down, because you need a little buffer before you get into bed. Like you can't be on the screens and then get right into bed. Like try to have a little window in there. You can read, you can draw or take a bath or something that's relaxing to you that's not using a screen. Um, and then also the more you can get in bed and get out of bed at the same time, that is helpful to you too, as far as sleep hygiene. Okay. move along. Okay, so this is the hormonal cycle. This is, oh, you know what else do I want to mention with the sleep? Magnesium is great. Um, I actually think I talk about that soon. Well, I think I have part of my slide showing up. If not, I'll come back to that. But okay, the hormonal cycle. Your This changes throughout the month. So you're going to see which hormones are coming through, like there's the progesterone, your testosterone, and your estrogen. So these are three hormones, and they're present in both male and female, but just at different ratios. So you want your ratios to be really solid, and then you also want the release of the hormones to be at the appropriate time so that you feel really good throughout the month. Your gut function, your brain chemistry, your motivation, how your feelings of stress, the way you look is actually influenced by these hormones, and then your metabolic rate. So we want to make sure that we have an idea about what's going on because we want to look good, we want to feel good, we want to have things working for us, not fighting against it. There is also weight gain, not looking at as a vanity metric whatsoever, but in a true supporting your body for its greater good. But when our body has a higher weight, and our weight increases, so does our level of estrogens. And the higher estrogen we have in the body, it is associated with some hormonal cancers and things. So we want to make sure our body is also detoxifying well, which you have your detoxification video, you can watch that. Estrogen buildup in the body is not good. So things like this, we want our bodies to have a really natural hormone weight, like a stable weight management that's really, really easy for you. We all have that set point. So you're here because you have a belief set point of your weight. And then we all have a natural set point that's very easy to get to, very easy to maintain when the body is in a high functioning state. So we are working on both in this program. And when that happens, like you're just sort of your body's going to be able to fight off disease. It's going to be able to um, more mobility, more longevity, like you're just going to have a better quality of life. And that's what I want for you. Look good, feel good, all the things. Okay. Um, okay, so there are 4 phases. There's the follicular. I'm going to butcher all of these words. As per I do. So, and this by now. All right. So in this phase, your nutrition, you can eat a little lower in carb, higher in protein, higher in fats. And even though you're eating higher fat, higher protein, eating fewer foods and lighter foods would serve you. And try to incorporate foods that will metabolize that estrogen. Just like why we talked about that just a second ago. You can have sprouted foods and fermented foods, things like miso, sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, just things that are fermented will help to remove the estrogen from your body during this phase. The way that you want to exercise, hormones are still kind of low, especially your testosterone. So in the beginning, it's going to cause some low stamina, but you can start moving into more intense exercise during this time. HIIT, kickboxing, things that are fun, new activities. It's like you're going to start wanting new, fresh things at this point. Like your period just ended and you're like kind of you're coming out of it and you can start to push yourself a little harder. Your energetic shifts are you're going to feel a little more confident. You're going to start becoming more playful. Feel your energy starting to rise, better focus, better motivation, enthusiasm, and you're just overall more positive person during this stage. So do things that are creative and fun. Your sex drive, though, is actually still naturally low. And, a lot of times we think, well, what's wrong with us? When we're not interested in our partner, or we think it's us that we should be on in a sexual way at all times, when really it's because our hormones are in flux, it influences our libido. So if you have no libido all month long, that's an indicator of hormonal imbalances and a symptom you want to look into. But in this stage, you can do things like some funner foreplay, some massaging, some touching, like more cuddling, things that get you excited to, um, you know, be more sexual, but not necessarily penetration. So I think knowing The sexual function of our body is really important because it does affect us emotionally. So your sexual wellness is just as important as your mental wellness and your physical wellness. And I want it all for you. I want you to feel good all across the board. Okay, and then you move into ovulation, which if you want to know when you're ovulating, you can have that app tracker, and it's generally a 5-day window. So if you start taking your temperature daily in the morning, every morning at the same time, you'll have an increase spike of temperature during ovulation. So that's when you'll know you're in ovulation. Typical other signs of ovulation can be some cramping, your breasts can get tender, more mucus, fluid retention, and your appetite and your mood's going to change. So once you get into ovulation, you actually your libido starts to come back. It's going to be at your highest in this phase because your estrogen and your testosterone are peaking. So you're going to be more interested in sex. It's why it's prime baby making, season. And you can use spontaneity to kind of spice things up and get like a little more exciting, more frisky during this time. You actually release pheromones, which attracts your partner. So like on a biological level, like these things are happening without us even realizing. Like it is, how people are made, we're genetically, biologically created this way. Our hair and nails look better and our skin looks great. Our energy is at an all-time high. And just we're more outgoing. So this is a really great time for you. Like you're feeling good at this time. If you're not feeling good during ovulation, if you're feeling a lot of cramps, again, like knowing that there should be a feeling good time and then kind of like not a feeling bad time, but just a more relaxed state throughout the month. Okay. So this is your luteal phase, and this is actually the more relaxed state that I was just talking about. So in this state, nutrition-wise, you can kind of increase your carbs because your energy expenditures goes up between 8 and 16% here. So your metabolism is increasing, so you can actually afford to eat more calories. So this is the time of the month where people are like, I have cravings, but I'm not going to eat because I can only have 1,200 calories, or the diet says I have to eat the same every day, and really, you actually need some more food in your system to provide for this function in your body. So we want to honor what's going on in our body and support it versus the diet. We're going to, honor us. We're not going to take the diet's not going to tell us how to eat because we are having increased appetite and we are having increased cravings. Eat more fiber-rich foods. And this is the time to up your magnesium. So things like spinach, pumpkin seeds, bananas, almonds, dark chocolate. If you're eating them now, it can kind of help with the cravings when your period comes. You won't be feeling so like, oh my gosh, like I'm, you know, my husband's downstairs. Oh my gosh, like I need to eat everything. So you kind of stay in front of it. Epsom baths also you can take. It have a magnesium in it and it absorbs through the skin. And then the calm, this is what I was going to talk about before with the sleep hygiene. I take this every night. It's just a little in powder form and mix it up with like 8 ounces of water, drink it down, and it gives you that extra magnesium. You can increase your B vitamins to speed up your progesterone, which is I think it says on there, your chill hormone. It's what's kind of calms you down. And it also will stabilize your blood sugars when you have all your B vitamins. Things that have B vitamins are your whole grains, brown rice, millet, large eggs. 2 of them create a lot of B12 and B2. You can eat legumes, lentils, garganza beans. Citrus fruit is great. Oranges, clementines, lemons, avocados are good. I love avocados. They're like the best. I feel like because they have fiber, they have healthy fats, they make everything taste good, they help you assimilate your nutrients. Well, my aunt actually didn't like avocados, but like I feel like everybody likes avocados for the most part. It's a great staple to have in the house. Meat, poultry, fish as well. And these things, doing them ahead of your menstruation, is going to help to keep your cravings low when you get to menstruation. So you can also have slow burning carbs, which are, carbs. A lot of people think bread, which you're allowed to eat bread. I feel like unless you have celiac disease, which is a true issue, a lot of times people are giving up gluten and it's because they have leaky gut or they have some, if you're allergic or have food sensitivities that is a mile long, it is a gut issue and you can clean that up so that you can enjoy more foods. So I'm not against the gluten. It just, for most people it's fine. And then there are those people that if you're celiac, then no, you got to do what's best for your body. Okay. But there's more carbs can be apples, berries, apricots, oranges. There's vegetables like green peas, carrots, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. Potatoes actually are great in satiety. They have like been given a villainized. I mean, I spent some years not eating potatoes, thinking like they should not be eaten, along with fruit, that they're bad for your not like, yeah, they were bad food. They make you fat. Anything that I thought would make me fat, I did not eat it. It will make you feel full. It's like diet industry has messed with our heads so much that you fear food and you are learning. I'm glad you're here and that's why you're here. And by the end of this program, you will have a whole different relationship and a freedom from food that will give you the ability to have weight maintenance and not have to obsess over food. So it's going to change your life. If it isn't already, depending where you are in this program. Um, okay, lentils again. So legumes, like if you're vegetarian, you can totally do this too. Kidney beans, lentils, nuts, almonds, walnuts, dairy products, yogurt, milks. Your exercising during this time can kind of come down. So no cardio, do strength training, yoga, things that are a little bit more, not that it's not impactful, but the intensity is a lot lower. Your energy start going to dip and you're going to feel yourself turning inward during this time. So you might realize that already. Like I know for me, I've always told my friends like during my period, like I have no desire to like hang out with people. Like I'm always like, I just want to be by myself. And it's like a natural instinct. And I used to always feel so bad. I'm like, I was like, being rude, but really I just need it's women need that extra time for other things. And so it is a great time then to use this time instead of feeling bad that you're not being social to complete tasks. And because you're high focused, you have a lot of tension, so you can do things like paperwork and things that you've been putting off. You're also highly sensitive during this time. So, if you get your partner might say to you, like, is your period coming? Like, because you act differently, you are more sensitive to things. You have a stronger intuition, your instincts are stronger. So it's a wonderful time to align with your truth. However, during this time, you're in a heightened stress response as well. So making sure if you haven't gotten to the stress module yet, you will. But if you've already watched it, go back and watch it again at how much that impacts how we operate in our life and use the tools in that video to help you with your stress response. Because when they're managed and your stress resilience is up, you're then able to focus on aligning with your truth and understanding and hearing your intuition. When we're so focused in the stress, we don't always hear this. So being able to manage this, you will be able to use this time in your cycle to really get to know and know what's going on in your life currently and what you need to do. And it just makes decision making that much easier. In the bedroom, you might need a little bit more stimulation than you normally do to climax. And then lastly, menstruation. So during menstruation, if you do have cramps, I would recommend taking relief and omegas, taking 2 relief, 2 omegas, and then 20 minutes later, you can take 2 relief again instead of the NSAIDs, laying off the NSAIDs, just because they can be tough on your gut lining. So I'm not saying you can't take them. Some people, depending where, I'm not against them once in a while, but if you're using them often, go to the relief because that's going to lower your inflammation, lower the pain. And then in conjunction with the omegas, it's a good combo for cramping. You can also eat a lot of protein during this time, a lot of anti-inflammatory foods. Doing that, it helps to create it's going to improve the egg embryo quality. And even if you're not trying to have a baby, it's just better for your body in general. So nutrient dense food during this time, during menstruation. A lot of times we're wanting to eat the junks and the snacks, but if you set yourself up in the lunar phase and you can say, okay, even if you eat the junk, eat the protein and eat the good stuff too. So, in this program, I'm sorry, I've been talking for a while here. I'm all about pleasure, enjoyment. I'm not about telling you what you can't eat. So it's crowding out some of the negative foods that you're gonna find that your body's cravings and tastes, especially on the GBX Fit, starts to shift. So you'll instant I can't say the word. You'll reach for something that's healthier for you because that's actually what you want, not because someone told you to do it or because you have to. And when you eat something like a cookie or a piece of cake or having some ice cream, you have to feel bad about it so you don't overdo it. We're getting you out of those binge cycles. We're getting you out of those guilt shame cycles. Um, Another part of food in your menstruation is using warming foods, things like bone broth, soups, stews, things that are easy to digest, things that are already kind of broken down. That's a really great because your body is working hard right now. So eating the foods that are kind of already in that state, it's going to just be easier on your body. Iron-rich foods also are really good to eat during this time. Shellfish, spinach, liver, organ meats, red meat, pumpkin seeds, quinoa. Organ meats I think are great. I used to be like, I would eat all of them. Now I get a supplement form and I think it's great to have. Um, all right, you can drink something soothing. They have like healthy cycle teas. Chamomile is great for cramping. So choosing things that'll make you feel better. Exercise wise, you want to walk, yoga, very, very stretching, like hit, no spin class during this time. Do not be like, you do not need to be superwoman during your menstruation. Take care of yourself. Give yourself a break. And it actually will benefit you to do less during this time because if you stress a body out that's already stressed, you will mess with your cortisol and you'll hold on to weight more than you wouldn't. So you're working against yourself. So knowing that taking the nap is actually going to be more nurturing to you and better for your body and actually help you with your weight loss goals, I feel like gives women some relief. It lets you like be like, oh, thank God. And I think sometimes the women that are in the burnout like stage, like they're afraid to stop because if they stop, they don't know if they'll get back up. Like that is not a good spot to be in. We need to get you into a flow where you're in a deserving, relaxed state and then also an exciting, get shit done state. So you get to have it all. But knowing when to do that and making sure you're already in a functional level. So a lot of people, want to do um the fasting. You have to know for you where you're at and what's going on in your body. So if you're already in a stress state, if you're in burnout, if you're in I'm drowning, fasting is not going to be helpful to you. You're taxing an already taxed up system. I don't mind fasting for like a spiritual cleanse or a mental cleanse. I think it'd be really helpful. I mean, we daily should be fasting maybe like 10 to 12 hours to give our digestion a really solid break, but it's not about weight loss. When women fast for weight loss, it creates issues, especially if you have emotional, that's why you're here. If you have emotional eating issues, fasting can just reignite those issues within you and create worse, more vicious cycles. So I would stay away from that. I also believe everyone's a little bit different. So there are women that have a little bit more masculine energy in them, and the fasting works great. Fasting is great on men. Like it works great for them because they don't have this hormonal cycle. They're not dealing with it. So, but long term for women, I think fasting is not necessary. Um, okay. And I also think it's like you are swapping out the scale for a clock. Because how many years did you use the scale to tell you how you feel? Like, I feel good because I lost weight. I feel bad because, or I feel good because the scale went down, and I feel bad because the scale went up. And then when you have that clock telling you when to eat and when not to eat, and you ate because you had to, and then you feel bad, or it's just we need to learn our own internal hunger cues, which you are doing, and the stronger you get in that and the more you practice, these things will become a non issue. And you won't be looking for the next diet. You won't be looking for how to lose weight. You're gonna live. You're gonna be like, what are we doing this weekend? Okay. Okay, so staying in flow. This is a great way to just give you some, it's an analogy. I didn't make this analogy up, but I feel like it's a great way to look at it so you don't have to remember the specific phases. Winter is when, like, you're hibernating. So this is the time when your body's working really hard and you're going to feel a little bit more tired because the innermost layer of your uterus is being shedded. So you're actually, your body needs a little more to be, it's in winter. You're going to feel more tired than usual. So you can ease up on your schedule, slow down at nights. This is a great time for journaling, reflecting, going inward. So it's not that you're not doing anything, but you're doing the inside work. So give yourself full permission to rest and recharge. And then once winter's over, spring comes. So spring, your body is maturing the egg for ovulation, and your estrogen starts to increase in this point. So you start to get the energy and the confidence, and your brain is wired to learn faster during this time. So that's why it's a good time to start something new, and you're future focused and also very optimistic at this time. You're a positive person. So this is a great time to start something. Um, be bold and try new things. And you can also use this time to look at your future goals, like your visions, what you want for your, the next month, the next 3 months, the next 6 months, that kind of stuff. All right, after summer, or after the spring, there is summer. And this is getting your body ready for ovulation. And then your estrogen is peaking. And then your social skills are at its highest. Your skin, your nails look radiant. You're looking really good. You're glowing from the inside out. You're having that burst of testosterone. So your libido is really strong. You're feeling like very sensual. And it's a great time to plan things like go out to dinner, have variety, like go to a museum, do things that are enjoyable to you, and you'll enjoy them more in this time versus like your winter season where you're like, why did I come out tonight? Like, I just want to be in my bed. Plan your evenings plan your date night around your ovulation. Um, so you can have like your romantic, weekend then, planning it then. All right, and then after summer, you ran around, you had fun. Now it's time to go to autumn, and your estrogen levels are dropping off. Your progesterone's coming in, it's calming you down. And even though you're slowing down and your energy is decreasing, your brain is primed for detail-oriented tasks. So you can start to organize that paperwork. You can go through that closet. You can get your work stuff done. So you got to have fun, and now you get to get the stuff done so that it's done for the next time summer rolls around. Like, it keeps you in check. You're actually getting everything accomplished within that month, and within your cycle. And you can, yeah, I feel like it just gives you a really great setup and how to operate throughout the month and how to, design your life. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I hope this was really helpful to you. And again, we're all individual. Take what makes sense for you, take what helps you, take what inspires you, leaves the rest. There's no hard, fast rules. There are no rules in life. We make them up for ourselves. So this is just information and knowledge for you to try to experiment, see what works for you, and then create something that makes a really enjoyable life experience. So, all right. I'm so glad that you got to take this in, and we will talk soon. All right. Bye, guys.